This is the sound. For many years ago there was an instance which it was a tryout. It was a tryout to attempt to blow glass for the first time, and it was a little bit overwhelming, so I had to just put it down. It seemed like it was not possible to be able to continue to breathe, and I lost a little bit of sensory perception at the time. And so unfortunately it turned out to be a result. It turned out to be something which resulted slightly in giving up on that process, on that prospect. Indeed, it was trying to glass blowing. It was a need to try it out, but it was apparently something a little bit too overwhelming for my ability to be able to contain the elements and the aspects of the physics that revolve around the activity for glass blowing, but I tried. And in hindsight, it's a little bit of a regret to be able to not have that skill, to be able to not travel around and be able to shapeshift the nature of differing forms, to be able to try to combine colors in the form of glass, to be able to make glass wheels of pipelines of various colors, to be able to matriculate and connect with the essence of the differing looks and feels of space through the form of glass development, which it was sort of the intention to begin with, because you can make many differing shapes and shape-shifting processes from glass, and it's quite interesting, yeah. So we're trying to evolve that in today's age. That was about 8 years ago or so, and so it was like a feeling of needing to faint upon trying to do that. So in terms of trying to evolve that process in today's going forward, it is necessary to be able to, we're trying to make more street art anyways, and still be able to try to leverage glass blowing a little bit in the future and such things. But nonetheless, there's a little bit of an interest to be able to combine different materials and such things. Although glass blowing is still a little bit attractive because it's something that you can do just sort of on your own in your free time and be able to make interesting items that are sort of corresponding to very, very weird pictures out of glass. That was the intention anyhow, but nonetheless we transition and we're trying to combine many materials now at the same time and trying to also leverage street art, which in essence is like a symbol for outdoor marketing, which in essence is also one half, in essence, kind of the brand of Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios, because we're trying to have a digital and a physical experience. So, nonetheless, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. At the end of the day, it's not the end of the world to be able to not be able to blow glass ultimately, even though I paid for lessons and I had to sort of let that go. But nonetheless, it's the purpose is to be able to try to combine new materials, to combine new materials in the future, to also be able to combine poles with pools in the future, combine poles with pools in the future. And also today is the UN, the United Nations. They had the Global Citizen Festival in Central Park today. Oh, it was an interesting festival today, which commemorates the United Nations getting together in Central Park and their energy and that whole organization to be able to have the United Nations General Assembly, to be able to reform new aspects and new repurposing of the world, which I'm hoping blockchain will start to continue to take a bigger process and a bigger portion of the formation and the framework for future connections with the blockchain and the United Nations in the future, to be able to connect all human beings to the blockchain. And nonetheless, what we're trying to get done is today to be able to acknowledge how we're still trying to connect like a bit of an office in Hong Kong today. And I'm in a remote town today. In today's episode in a remote town in the United States, in the middle of America. So nonetheless, the purpose is to be able to try to connect with the forest a little bit today. It's a little bit different of a vibration, that's for sure. But at the same time, we're trying to be able to try to focus on connecting with aspects of the United Nations, and at the same time we learned about an interesting story where today the Dalai Lama himself was able to transport an interesting prayer wheel to this vicinity, this location in essence, and at the same time it's a corresponding full circle process of a story, conceptually, because in essence it was necessary that there's a little bit of a familial connection sort of to be able to the full circle person who brought the wheel to this location, which was a prayer wheel in essence, to be able to try to bring more so spirituality and spiritual finance in essence to this part of the region of the world, which is a commemoration for New York City and it's like just a large prayer symbology in the form of a wheel, which in essence is a symbol for trying to combat all derogatory negative energy in the whole world and in the universe, in essence. And so that symbology, that symbolism of that person bringing that wheel to this location in the world to be a symbol for the whole world to be able to resonate and have it be blessed by the Dalai Lama, who is a monk, to be able to in essence be able to try to then diverge that with our own connection to Buddhism, in essence by having a connection to the United Nations, to Buddhism, almost like a collaboration between the United Nations and Buddhism today, for that instance, for that reason, for that purpose. And at the same time, that wheel is in essence a symbol of continuous, consecutive, ongoing, perpetual spiritual finance energy, percolating out from that. And especially since we learned about that today, and it corresponds to the Global Citizen Festival in New York City today, and the General Assembly among the United Nations today. So we're collaborating the United Nations and Buddhism today, to be able to continue to make street art around the world starting today. Yeah, but we want to make it by blending interesting materials starting today, but going forward through digital marketing and also physical marketing, outdoor marketing, and having it be combined, because we want to make and use weird materials, just like we want to make and use weird digital materials to make music in the future. We want to make weird physical materials to make weird street art in the future in the same fashion, in a weird corresponding cross-hatching business music and in real life street art cross-hatching type of a dynamic. So in essence, what we're also trying to get at is this also corresponding item, because the same person who brought the wheel of spirituality to this region to be a symbol for combating all good and universal spirits and spirituality and spiritual finance and business music to be able to spread around the whole universe and the world, is that person also happened to be able to start their days in Hong Kong back in the old school days, like back in the 90s days, to be able to correspond to what I have been saying upon trying to develop an office in Hong Kong, to be able to start like a skate shop in essence, or a starting place that is like a physical location in essence, to be able to try to spin from, and also develop more spiritual finance energy and business music energy, which is in essence business music, and transposing much of this spiritual finance methodology into physical, more so, digital, I guess you could say, monetary energy, but by spooling up spiritual finance energy to begin with in the first place, to then be able to trade that for monetary energy on the backside, so that in essence we're focused on spooling value in the form of spiritual finance energy, and also continuing to try to develop a place and a space and a stake in the Asian market, standing for the similar reasons for having the wheel that stands for the symbology in this region in the middle of America, but doing that in the middle of Asia and Hong Kong in the future, having our office there for the first time as a symbol for trying to stake the flag for not this country, but stake the flag for Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios out in that part of the world as a starting place to be able to start to spin more energy, more spiritual finance energy in that part of the world, to be able to start the brand Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios proper, in a proper sense, with the proper partnerships and proper Asian connections and partners and partner connectivity for a global philanthropy energy and business music and spiritual finance organization, mostly meaning a finance organization that is built off of spiritual finance, a finance organization that is built off of spiritual finance, a finance organization that is built off of spiritual finance. So we're combining all these elements of art and business music and street art and in real life art and connection and connectivity with business music and real music, and which is digital but also hope to be played in a physical sense and a physical presence at the same time, to be able to also trade that for philanthropy energy and philanthropy good, actual philanthropy goods being done in exchange, and like microloans, trading microloans in the form of like philanthropy energy in essence, and also trading that with business music and also real music, so that in essence real live music performance can be traded for in essence different philanthropy energy and different philanthropy good and volunteering and like philanthropy good deeds around the world to be traded for music in this essence, by developing this foundational space and office space in Hong Kong, hopefully eventually soon enough, hopefully soon enough in the future. We'll see what the timeline exactly will span in terms of how we're trying to unfold that process. But as I mentioned many podcasts ago, we're also trying to focus on developing wheels similar to the spiritual wheel that landed here, like developing wheels that are a symbol for circles, circles for opportunity and partnerships, circles that also have to do with circle jewelry, circle wheels like wheels that we can make for like bicycles, wheels that we can make for cars, wheels and hubcaps even for cars, for example, because this space has not necessarily been innovated significantly, and we can develop significantly interesting jewelry from 3D printing if we can get more of the capabilities, as well as more of the clothing industry, which also corresponds to jewelry, and interesting accessories that are tacked on to much of the clothing and accessories in what we want to try to make ongoing as well. Through Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios as the vessels, we continue to try to expand out the logo going forward and try to do more and expand more and distribute more content and distribute more animals content and distribute more animals content, which corresponds to developing more processes to fill more pools of demand around the world with more poles and fishing poles around the world that Dinky Tech wants to, and Change for Game Studios wants to try to develop partnerships for each of the pools of demand around the world by developing partnerships with each fishing pole that can go into all those pools to be able to try to derive energy and have a back and forth reciprocal relationship with those fishing poles of fish coming and going back and forth, reciprocal symbolic fish of gold fish and light fish of light that go back and forth in and out of the pools that are reciprocal and symbolic of our relationship with the pools of market demand around the world that are corresponding to animal content promoting animals and well-being and spiritual health among all human beings in the world, to be able to cleanse all spirituality, spirits, in terms of spiritual health, and leveraging that into the medical industry, and promoting the wellness of animals at the same time, and at the same time being able to try to innovate in the art market, in the products market, in the art products market, in the jewelry market, in the car wheels market, in all of these through partnerships as symbols for filling all of the pools of demand all around the world with fishing poles that we want to put into as many fishing poles into as many pools of demand around the world as possible on a consistent ongoing basis as part of the unfolding spiritual finance growth process methodology for making spiritual finance into real finance, spiritual finance energy into ultimately monetary energy on the backside as a spiritual finance company that is also a finance company. Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Thanks again, Dinky Tech. Bye, peace, bye. Dinky Tech, Change for Games. Dinky Tech, Change for Game Studios. Bye, peace, bye.